John and Darin's office chairs provided by GT Omega Racing. You can check them out at gtomegaracing.com.
Welcome to This Week Inside Sim Racing, July 20th, 2016 edition. I'm John Sable, and that's Darin Ganji, who I think was looking at chat.
No, I was watching our new intro.
Like that,
hey, everybody!
Like that chair movement at the end?
I liked it. That was cool.
Ghost chair.
Yeah, now I just want to watch the intro with the music and everything. I couldn't hear it, but it looked good. Oh, you know what? I just realized Chuck's underneath me. He may be moving my camera. Charlie,
It just moved slightly. Well,
oh man, it's all jacked up now. Charlie.
Well, you guys keep on asking to have Charlie hang. I shouldn't say his name. Well, you can't hear. He can't hear through the headphones.
No, he can't hear you.
But yeah, now that he's here, and now we gotta get him to not knock over the camera while he's laying down there.
Aye. Anyway, why don't we tell him what's on today's show, John?
Yeah, today we're kind of catching up on a couple weeks of news since we were off last week. Darin was north of the border, and I needed a week off to catch up on sleep. But so talking some F1 2016 details, Dirt Rally came with a big update, 1.2, which is essentially just Oculus Rift support. Forza Motorsports 6 Select Pack, Assetto Corsa Red Pack. So had a lot of coverage on that. Automobilista update, NASCAR Heat Evolution trailer, rFactor 2 update to one of the tracks, and a cool little story about the Microsoft HoloLens that was from a blog that SimXperience put out. Then happenings, like I said, Darin was north of the border. We had our very own Mark Puck get to take a lap around the Nordschleife, and that video just went up, and we'll show a little more of that. And I got to try the PlayStation VR over this past weekend, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that.
Do you have any footage of it?
I don't. I wish I should have handed the woman there from Sony to. I should have had her film it on my phone, but oh well. No footage of it. Just talking experiences.
It would have just been footage of you with a headset on. We wouldn't have seen what you were seeing.
Yeah,
I guess was the screen visible so you could see what people were actually looking at?
I would have had to ask her to like show me and then like show the screen probably because it was probably like I don't know 8 feet away. So it wasn't the easiest to film, but they're gonna be there every weekend. So maybe next time I bring the camera, and then someone steals it from me while I'm filming.
That would suck.
Yeah,
I think I would trust it a lot less in an environment like that, like Best Buy. Then again, you are at Best Buy, and you know I would think it'd be pretty tough to steal from there.
Yeah, for the most part, I don't live in the hood, so.
So before we forget, if you like the show, we'd appreciate a thumbs up. And if you don't like the show, feel free to give it a dislike. We would appreciate a like, though. Also, we're going to have Q&A at the end of the show. And we got a link to Amazon, our Amazon store, in our description. Check it out if you get a chance. And we're actually looking into having Amazon affiliate stores for many countries coming soon. So anyway, we'd appreciate your support there. And it doesn't cost you any extra to shop at Amazon through our affiliate, but we get a little kickback. So anyway, why don't we get to the news?
Yes, let's roll on with the news. And first up is that
Hey, who's the hot chick there? They do. We're muted.
oh we are.
Yeah, we were muted there.
Great.
Here, Darin, no John.
Interesting. Well,
John had to reset XSplit, so we may have had some issues. We may have some issues along the way. One of the good things with John's reset is that he's not hearing himself. All I heard is hot chick.
That's
John's
funny.
not hearing himself in his headset. And if you guys notice, if you know John from previous shows, he was talking a little bit slower. And it was because he was hearing himself echoing in his ear. So they're saying it's okay now. I guess we could try it again with the video playing and see if people hear us.
Well, what I'm gonna do is I'm now editing on the fly here, so that doesn't happen again. Because it's kind of surprising that happened, because it really. I'm pressing buttons.
Yep, like Avenger said, it's not ISR TV without technical difficulties.
No, not this show. Darren, how about you read the rest of the notes I got there for F1?
I will. Actually,
fix
I'll go through. Why don't you run it again and I'll talk it through.
Sounds good.
So besides the hot chick, that's an agent. There are time of day changes now. There's gonna be a formation lap. You can manually launch the car with the clutch. Game won't take over the car on pit road until the line. 22-player multiplayer, more pit board action, wheel tethers and accident. Oh, that's kind of cool. And 10-season career mode. Just happened again. They were saying whatever that means. John cuts out the moment he launches the video. So they can hear me, but they can't hear you, John. John's not talking. John wasn't talking anyway. It was just me through that video.
Well, and also, I didn't update that video. I'm just not worrying about that scene. I'm going and updating future scenes.
Okay.
So, don't worry about that.
We could test another scene really quick if you want.
Yeah, why not? Let's roll on. Well, let's see. F1. Yeah, just to put a pin on F1 here, looking at this list, I will say that was a pretty impressive looking trailer. I like those wheel tethers catching the wheel when you crash.
Yeah, that is cool.
Of course, I will say,
ahead.
driving that at E3, I didn't think it looked too much different from last year, and I thought last year's looked good. So then I saw that trailer, and I was like, oh man, they figure out ways to make these trailers look really good.
Well, at this point, there's only so much more they can do. I mean, the title has evolved a little bit since 2010, but man, it's hard to believe this is going to be its 7th year. But there's only so much. Sure, it evolved a bunch going from the PS3 and the Xbox 360 to the PS4 and Xbox One. But on the PC, we haven't really seen that much of an evolution graphically. So, anyway, why don't we try the next video, see if people can hear you. And, John, you take the beginning of it, and we'll see if you get cut off.
Okay, let's roll, guys. So,
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 80, cat crest, turn square.
Yeah, that's pretty cool looking. I haven't looked at that video yet. I'm going to have to take a look at it. So let's see. Hold on. So let's see if there are any comments about John cut out. You guys still hear John? I'm not seeing any comments.
350 over small crests.
John got cut off.
Caution, turn left.
Can't hear John. He's gone. Nope, no John. Bye-bye, John.
I really don't know what's going on here. I mean, I'm copying and pasting the scene from the video, and it should work. I don't know.
What's weird is they can hear me, but they can't hear you.
That is weird. Man, good thing we got a lot of videos today.
All right, so I'll just talk over the videos, and then John, you and I can comment on them when we're done.
Sounds good.
Well, it'll work good for when we show the Toronto, because I'm going to have to narrate that anyway. So
Yes.
but you guys could hear me, right? When John was gone, I'm assuming, because it keeps everybody saying no John, no John. John is trolling us. Okay, so let's put that video back up and we'll talk a little bit about it. Okay, so Dirt Rally, huge update, 1.2 with Oculus Rift support. Big download. It was like 10 gigabytes and just for VR. You can use the DK2 as well. And we have our very own Avenger from chat here. He's the one in this video. So I'm assuming John's going to tell me here. John, did we steal that video or did he actually give it to us? John?
We stole it. I was hoping it was going to go back to where it was. Now XSplit decided to work again.
So he was also running with that was a Derek Spear Designs handbrake.
Yeah, Darin design handbrake. And then what was really interesting in the video that I'm afraid to pull up, I didn't mute it. Someone said like maybe the video was just sound was just going over top of me. But what's interesting is he has the Oculus going, and we talked about at iRace for Life. You're curious on a motion platform, and he's got that's a custom SimXperience Stage 4, right?
I think he has.
Or at least the actuators.
He can comment on it, but I think he's got. I think it's a DIY version of basically like a Stage 3.
Yeah.
So Stage 1 is the seat motion, and then a Stage 3 is the rear traction loss. So I think, and eventually you can correct us if we're wrong here, but I think it is a DIY version of it. And I'm pretty sure he's got an AccuForce. But that was a cool video. I'm gonna have to watch that once we're done here. That's the first I've seen it here is while we were running it.
Yeah. But what I was saying is we talked about at iRace for Life. We were wondering about the head tracking and where you would put that sensor at with motion. And he has it just mounted. It's stationary. And watching the video, anytime the back end kicked out, I didn't really see like the head suddenly shift inside the car. So that seems like that's the way to go.
So yeah, it is DIY. It is basically like a Stage 3 or 4 with more movement, and he does have an AccuForce. So anyway, that was a cool video. And Richard, thanks for sharing that with us.
It was out there on all the different sites.
thanks for not stealing, or thanks for not reporting us for stealing your video. It's not like we played the whole thing and claimed it as our own. We're just reporting the news here, and that was newsworthy. So next up, Forza Motorsports 6 Select Pack. And John, you gonna run the video? I'm
gonna run the video
don't bother talking. I'll cover it. We can comment when I'm done. There's 2014 Jaguar number 14 Emil Frey GT3, 2015 Mercedes-Benz Tank Pool 24 racing truck. Didn't we have a video of that come out or something? I saw some. Man, you guys were so busy while I was gone. Haven't been able to keep up with all our videos. A Chevy Cruze WTCC racer, 1980 Fiat 124 Sport Spider, a 2015 McLaren 570S Coupe, 1969 Ford Bronner Hawk 3, and a 1957 BMW Assetto 300 Export.
There's the truck.
There's the truck. Look at that beast.
And now I'm hearing myself in the ear, so now it'll be curious if people are hearing me now.
You guys hear John now? You guys hear John? Let us know if you heard John during the.
I popped in at the end when the truck was going.
$7 for the pack. So he hear you. Okay, so that was working. So you have to hear. Now that sucks.
Yeah, it does suck.
Now you're gonna be echoing into your own headset.
Can't win. But at least now I know what to do to fix the rest of these.
Yeah. You know what? We could. No, that didn't work anyway. I'm not gonna even bother getting into that. So anyway, that new pack's out. We got a video. How many? We got 1 or 2 videos up on that Billy did.
We have 2 videos now. Billy did a video with the truck at VIR, and then he did the Chevrolet Cruze at the Nordschleife.
All right, now they're saying you're echoing, John. You sound like a robot. Double tracked.
I'm hearing myself echoing.
John's double tracked. John, you really effed it all up.
How about that? Is that better?
I don't know.
Oh.
Robot
I
John
can't hear
is
you.
cool. There's a slapback delay on John.
We're breaking stuff.
I am John. Take me to your leader. Well, just go back to the other way, and I can just talk over the videos for today. We'll figure it out later.
Okay. How about that? Still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Well, hopefully everyone else can hear me, and yeah, we'll just roll through the other videos.
Okay.
So yeah, that was Forza Motorsport 6. That truck does look fun. I do want to try that.
That does look fun. And you know what? Hey, one good thing, someone just mentioned it too. No buffering. I think it's at 720. Because I've not seen one issue with the stream on the back end. So at least we got that right today, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should have put a warning in the waiting screen before coming on the show, because I knew with a bunch of things being changed on my side with all this that it was going to not work well.
We should just put that at every show. Warning, technical difficulties may be observed during this viewing.
Yes. Ugh. Okay. So beyond that, let's see. Next up, Assetto Corsa Red Pack. And I'll roll this trailer and Darin can talk away.
Cars included in that were the Ferrari SF15T, the Ferrari F138, the Ferrari 488 GT3, the Maserati 250 F6C, the Maserati 250 FT212C, Maserati Gran Turismo MC GT4, and the Lamborghini Aventador Super Veloce. Also was the Red Bull Ring track was added. And a bunch of other cool dealies. I'm not going to go over the whole change log here. My phone's blowing up there. I apologize if you guys can hear that.
Well,
but yeah, they made any major changes. I see they've added a lot of things. And fixed a bunch of things.
Yeah, a lot of the other stuff are kind of smaller stuff. A lot of traction control, ABS type stuff. Obviously, a lot of new physics features were added into the title to support the Ferrari 2015 F1 car, because that has a whole bunch of settings.
DRS well, there was DRS in there before for the Lotus?
DRS was in there before. That's on the 2013 car. But yeah, just having the electrical, the ERS system and all that. And yeah, if people would have saw the video that I put out where I drove all different cars, you saw that I was getting killed in that car, and I think part of that was, and people mentioned in the comment section, I kind of knew this was the case, but you gotta go in there and play with those settings. And I don't think I was harvesting the electrical power very well in that video, running the base setup. So
it's a cool video too. I liked what you did with that.
Thanks.
And and I didn't watch the whole thing because I was out of town, but I did watch some of it. But that was cool.
Yeah, that was a long one, but nope. Just wanted to show off all the cars, and yeah, I have to say overall pretty happy with the Red Pack, which, by the way, leads us to our poll question of the week, which should be up here. And the question is, how do I word that? Thoughts on the Assetto Corsa Red Pack. So I think I have love it, it's okay, I want my money back, and I'm not gonna buy it, or I didn't buy it, something like that. So that's this week's poll question.
And people are asking, when is Assetto Corsa still going to hit in August for the PS4? As far as we know, we haven't heard any different. If they delay it again, man, they are going to get a shellacking here on the show, because that'll be the fourth delay?
I think so.
I think they're on 3 right now. So anyway, we're hoping that there's no more delays and that it does come out in August. But anyway, next up, Automobilista update 0.9.8. Man, they are creeping up on 1.0. Content added Superland kart track venue, 4 different layouts, and handful of tweaks and fixes, or features and fixes. Tweaked force feedback output code, added new low-speed force feedback function to eliminate vibration and oscillation at very low speed. That's cool. Revised default real feel settings. Tweaked road, dust, smoke, and skid properties. Brasilia, they tweaked the track limits to allow running over green concrete runoff. VIR, they improved road and curb textures. Bunch of other stuff. Boxer added wiper to cockpit view and corrected AI tire wear. So those guys at Ritza just keep moving along. And again, they're up to 0.9.8.
You don't get much closer to the version 1.
Yeah, they better squeeze a lot. Well, then again, I don't know how many bugs are actually in that they need to squeeze more into it, because it seems pretty polished, because basically it's just a upgrade to game stock car that they've been working on for, I don't know, 3-4 years now.
Yeah,
But-
right now the updates recently haven't really felt like they've been any more of, let's say, a jump from what you would see in a traditional updates that you see with a title that's out. It seems to be a lot of fine polishing or fine tuning. I do think that the Speedland kart track might be the last piece of content that's supposed to be out before version 1.0. And if it isn't, it's close to the last piece of content. So, yeah, I mean, it was supposed to be. What did they say? I think when they were saying end of April originally, and now somehow we're approaching end of July. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, it's almost kind of like call it version 1.0 and throw it over the fence, and then patch it like everyone else does.
Test. This is weird. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Man, Skype is freaking garbage. I just turned the volume. I got the volume all the way down, and you can still hear me, right?
You got quiet.
I don't get it. People are bitching about my mic being too loud. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, you sound fine to me.
Oh, buffering. Mic's too loud. Echo. Jeez. Man, you guys, quit your complaining. Now it's too low. Too high. Too low. Too high. Echo. Sorry, guys. Like Avenger said, it wouldn't be ISR TV without technical difficulties. You know what? It's all John's fault.
It is.
John messed everything up.
It's my fault on so many levels. See, that's what you got to come. I feel like all our other stuff is pretty polished. We got some fancy cameras and stuff. This show, let's just accept that it's gonna mostly break. And when it breaks, you guys can just chat with each other in chat and not worry about us.
Yeah, they're saying I need to talk with my soft voice. Hello. I don't think it has anything to do with Google Hangouts. Billy was just saying that it's Skype. We need to. Anyway, let's not even get into that. We'll talk about. You and I can talk about this later. NASCAR Heat Evolution official trailer is out or came out, and we're gonna run that for him, John.
Rated E for everyone.
Here it is, the first official trailer for the latest NASCAR licensed title, NASCAR Heat Evolution, is out and putting the faithful NASCAR fan base on pins and needles. Obviously, this isn't our words. We're reading a press release here. So, anyway, someone said it's not the same engine as what was done by, who the heck was it? I can't even think about. Oh, John's got a visitor in his room. You guys can't hear that, but I can. John, John's version of Charlie is in there. It's John's stepdaughter. Anyway, why don't we show Emerson to our viewers, John?
Well, considering I'm hearing her, so she might just come on in here. I don't know.
That'd be pretty funny.
Oh, by the way, that wasn't written by a PR person. I wrote that.
You did?
Yeah. Because
wow.
there's a lot of people who are just losing their mind waiting for this game. I'm actually kind of surprised.
Well, you should start writing press releases for them because it sounded like their press release.
Clearly.
I should have read the whole thing then. Oh, you pulled it from the blog, huh?
Yeah, that was all pulled from the blog.
Okay.
Yeah.
So September 13th is the launch.
Coming out, I didn't mention the blog, but coming out PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, Steam. I believe that's the breakdown. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, everyone's real excited. I think the trailer showed off. I don't know what it really showed off. And I think overall the graphics didn't look too bad. And the time of day, actually, they had it on their Facebook group or something. What's it called? Dansbury something racing. Can't remember what the actual thing is now.
Duesenberg.
Yeah, that's it. It's pretty much a couple of guys who are part of the Monster Games development team. It's their last names. But anyway, they had some pictures that were time of day. I think at Kentucky from last week, and it showed morning, noon, afternoon, and I mean it looked very different. It was cool to see that. But yeah, I mean we'll see. I mean it's hard to say until you drive these things.
Yeah, it is. Looks can be deceiving. Someone was saying that Emerson was on the bat. It would be funny if you didn't know it. She just all of a sudden showed up in the background and started dancing.
That would be funny. She would do that.
That would be hilarious. I'm gonna have to talk to Angela and tell her to have Emerson sneak in one day and just start like giving you rabbit ears behind your head.
Part of me, I feel kind of bad because like I don't want to like shoo her away, but I'm like, Angela, where'd you go?
Get out of here!
Okay, so yep, that was NASCAR Heat Evolution trailer, September 13th. Let's see. Next up, we have some screenshots of an update to Palm Beach and rFactor 2. Over here, Darin will take it away.
And I'm assuming that's Daytona, or is it, John? You can correct me if I'm wrong here. No, that doesn't look like Daytona. Palm Beach International Raceway version 2.02 released. It's available for download on Steam. And it's been a test mule of sorts for new types of shaders and techniques. And ISI has taken what they have learned from or during this period and implemented it all in this 2.02 version. And also has the much anticipated kart circuit has been included, as well as a thorough reworking of the original circuit, giving it an atmospheric look and feel of Florida's hot and humid climatic conditions. Neato.
So yeah, I know. I kind of felt the same way. Yeah, this is one of these fictional tracks that just kind of I just never really realized have been out there in rFactor 2. So
Billy was saying Homestead, I think.
no, it's a road course. I believe it's just a fictional road course.
Huh.
They did have a
Cool.
sweet picture in there. I don't know if we got to it of the ducks in the pond.
Neat. Oh, ducks. Oh, now we're having bad streaming.
Are we?
Man, we can't do anything right here. Just, you know what, John, just cut the stream. Let's just turn it off.
Just kill it.
Just kill it. I got to say, over this last week, I've probably driven more rFactor 2 and seen more rFactor 2 than I have in the last year. Because that's what we were running at Toronto in the stage 5s in the Honda tent. And was anybody there, by the way? Anybody in chat at Toronto? Did you come see me? Because I met probably at least 10 different guys that were fans of the show or seen us on the show. One guy was in line. He's like, "Inside Sim Racing!" He pointed at me. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute here. But yeah, I ran a lot of rFactor 2 this last weekend. So Grace did it and everything.
What were you thinking of it?
You want my honest opinion? Or?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm kind of, rFactor 2 has been putting out more, I don't know, they did NASCAR content we've been covering and talking about on the tracks, but it's like, I don't know, I mean, it just feels very stuck at the moment, and other things keep on going at kind of breakneck pace, and it just kind of seems like the same, update track here, there, a car comes out here and there. So, I don't know. I haven't played it in a while. I haven't really been motivated to. So, what were your thoughts?
I mean, there's some things that are great about it. I mean, it has a great physics engine when a particular car is done right. So we ended up running the Formula Renault 3.5 at Toronto. And the Toronto track was a mod, and it was basically a conversion from rFactor 1, and to put it bluntly, it was garbage. And, I mean, it was close to the layout. That was one of the good things, but the textures were just horrible. At the end of the day, we'd have the real road running, and, man, you could see the textures were just, like, overlaid. And anyway, it was bad. But once we got that car dialed in, the physics were pretty cool. But I got to say, we had a lot of problems with it over that weekend. And I was really wishing we could have been running iRacing just because I know it would have just been more of a plug-and-play experience. But it's just, man, rFactor 2 has just been left in the dust. It has been left behind by all these other titles that just, like you said, that are moving forward at breakneck paces. And rFactor 2 is not. I mean, Bernie and I sat for almost all day Thursday trying to figure out which car we were going to run. The Indycar we could not run there because something in the track file or something was forcing the oval car setup, so we couldn't run the DW12. No matter what we tried, we couldn't, and we didn't have time to start tweaking INI files or track files. We tried there's an old like F2 car. That one just wasn't cutting it. The Honda Civic, which is I guess the car they ran last year, just the physics are weird as far as when the torque steer comes into play. So I don't know. It's just I want rFactor 2 to be great, and I had major high. I ran rFactor for a long time, the original, and had really high hopes for this version of the title, but I think they're just missing the mark, man. I mean, as far as I know, they don't have or are not going to have VR support. So, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad that they were the leaders really in sim racing for a lot of years as far as the best title on the market, and I think they were relying on the modding community to really make that title what rFactor was, and the modding community moved on, and you see way more mods in Assetto Corsa than you do in rFactor 2. So, someone just said, do you think there will be an rFactor 3? No, I really don't. I think they've kind of missed the mark with rFactor 2, and if they're going to come out with an rFactor 3, they better get on their, get it moving now, and
they better get some money, because I think a lot of people here, besides some of the issues that you were talking about, I think tire model wise and some physics when things are working properly, and that could have been compatibility issues with the track, but when things are going right, I think there's there's potential there, but like the whole you gotta take the physics and then like extract that and then throw everything else away and start over on the graphics side and everything. Just everything else, and man, money. Yeah,
exactly, and then seeing. If we were running a newer track, and we couldn't, we had to run Toronto there, which I'll get to that in a minute. I got to tell you guys how that went. But that track it probably altered my opinion even more about rFactor 2 because it was a conversion from rFactor 1, and it was just so bad. Physically, it was pretty good. As far as how the track layout was and bumps in the road and that kind of stuff. But graphically, God, it was horrible. Anyway, I don't know. They really need to step it up if they want to catch up to where everybody else is, because they're being left in the dust. It's to the point where Automobilista is a more polished, graphically and everything else title than rFactor 2, and they're using rFactor 1 technology.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we'll see what happens. But I'll get off my soapbox now. There's my take on rFactor 2, and I'm sure I'm going to get hammered by the rFactor 2 fanboys. But hey, it's just my opinion. I've seen a lot of guys in chat saying, rFactor 2 is dated now. Still using DX9, and Charlie just bumped the camera again. Stretching himself out down there. He is passed out, loving life. He's sitting at my feet. Anyway, I want it to be great, but it's just, I don't know. I think they're not focused on developing one certain series or anything like that. So I think the fact that they're just bouncing all over the place is just leaving a lot to be desired.
Yep.
So anyway, so while we're on the subject of SimXperience, Charlie is really moving around now. Stop. Dude, chill out. SimXperience got a Microsoft HoloLens augmented reality unit, and we got a video here running of what the possibilities are with augmented reality. And I got to try it while I was with the guys at SimXperience over the past 7-8 days. I got to try it, and I got to say, it's pretty awesome. Now, how it's going to be implemented in a sim racing environment, there's still a lot of questions to be answered, and ways to figure out how they're going to be able to do that. But Charlie's driving me nuts down here. Sorry, guys. But I think, I don't know. I think like having, for virtual button boxes and dash data. And now with I think augmented reality with virtual reality would be really cool. Thing is though, the development kits now, the one I tried, $3,000 for that thing. So and basically it's a PC that sits on your head. It's completely wireless. It's running Windows 10, and so I think if it comes down to well under 1,000, it could be cool in a sim racing, in some kind of sim racing application. Like if you guys have Sim Commander or Sim Vibe or Motion or an AccuForce, you're familiar with Sim Commander. So I think it would be cool to be able to adjust Sim Commander on the fly through that augmented reality. But so my experience with it, and what I got to do, some of the things that were really cool. So you could set something up anywhere in the room. You could set your desktop. There's like different holograms you could set, and you basically pin them to certain areas, or you could have them follow you. Anyway, you pin it to a certain area in the room. You walk out of the room and come back, and it's still in that exact spot. So like one of the holograms was a cloud with a lightning bolt coming out. You know what? I had some video of it that I took too, and I uploaded it to my OneDrive or something like that, and I could have shared it with you guys to show you that I was using it in my hotel room. But there was a little campfire I set on the ground, and anyway, I walked around the room, came back, and it was still in the same position. So anyway, I think, man, it's amazing to be in this day and age where this kind of stuff is coming out. I mean, this is stuff you see in movies. I would never thought that we would be seeing something like this, anytime in the near future. But anyway, it was really cool. How it's going to work in a sim racing application, I have no idea. I mean, I think there's definitely some possibilities for it. But what do you think, John, so far, what you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's cool. God, I mean, Laura, it's also comments here. The Pokemon Go has certainly been quite the revelation, which is essentially an AR game. I'm not entirely sure if I see it for sim racing. I mean, like you said, I think if you do have, if you are using monitors and you do want to have possibly like a button box up there and stuff like that, then you can. Of course, part of me is kind of like, if you're going to go and put something on your head, you might as well just kind of go all out and have just a VR headset on your head at that point. But yeah, so I'm not entirely sure about for sim racing, but I think in general it's really neat. And it was funny, I was listening to, I think, like a podcast the other day, and they're talking about, like Disney World has like Futureland or whatever it is, and it's like now we have all these different like supercomputers in our pockets, and it's like, this isn't that exciting anymore.
Yeah, it's like Tomorrowland. Yeah, today land now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Tomorrowland when I was a kid.
Yeah, so this is like, we've definitely jumped where now we're getting all this movie stuff. I talked about, you see all these screens and crazy stuff, and it's like, it's coming. And before long, it'll just be, again, chips in our brains.
So to answer Darren Bell's question, actually, let's save that for Q&A. So we're getting close to Q&A anyway.
We are.
So anyway, like I said, I got to try it. It was really cool. I guess time will tell on how it's going to be, how it could be implemented in a sim racing environment. But again, it's a PC on your head. So I don't know. Maybe if there's a way to tie it into the PC that you're using, they could do one for much cheaper. But with people running VR, how could you use both really? Anyway.
Yeah.
So happenings. I was, and I've already mentioned it, I was at the Indycar race in Toronto last week and got some footage for you guys here. And this is just practice. This is practice on, I believe, Saturday morning. So if you notice, the stands are pretty empty. Actually, I would not have been able to get this footage during the race because, man, and it was really cool to see the stands were packed for this race. So here's the Indy cars, and then I think I got some footage of I think it was the 2000 cars. And then here's the Porsche GT3 Cup. Those things were pretty badass. Bernie was saying that he thought it was going to be like, anyway, here's the Honda tent. he thought like the Audis and stuff were going to be there, but there was just like the Porsche Cup. So there's the tent that we were in. It's more like a structure. So here's a good look at the entire tent. Big giant screen on the wall there, where you could watch the race. You watch qualifying and stuff. Some cars on display. There was an RC51 race bike back there. Some more, there was a new Acura there. A couple of the guys we were with loved that car. Got a shout out to JP, Ron, Adam, Pat. There's Pat Dotson right there in the foreground. So you can see the crowd starting to build up. This was early one day. And there we got James Hinchcliffe. He came in on Friday morning and turned some laps. He only ran about 4 laps in the sim. And it was pretty amazing how Hinchcliffe could just transition from a real car into this. And at this track, which is so tough, and not even touch the wall. I don't think he touched the wall one time. We were running with a bunch of assists on, though, too. We were running it that way for the general public, just to make it easy. Every once in a while, we get like a sim racer come in and said, hey, can I do my own shifting? We're like, no. We're leaving it on easy for everybody. There's another shot of Hinch running the stage 5. He finished 3rd in the race. He had a good day on Sunday. There's some more shots. So he ended up running, and we're going to show a shot. He ended up running a 103.519 for his fastest lap. Don't go forward too much there, John. You're going to miss the good stuff. So there's another shot, and maybe you can see it in the background. These 2 guys in the foreground were 2 of the fastest guys on the weekend. And as a matter of fact, I ended up racing them at the end of one of the days. And the kid in the blue shirt that was in the second rig ended up beating me. And then it was myself and Pat Dotson. You can see at the podium there. He was racing. There was a really cute girl in the sim. We got a quick shot of her. But anyway, we had over 1,000 people come through the Sims through the weekend. Non-stop stream of people. I mean, we were running these things from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and all 4 Sims were filled up all weekend long. And it was really cool. I got to see some people that were viewers of the show. Met some other people that were either like that kid that ran the fastest lap of the weekend was a kart racer. He wasn't even a sim racer. So here they are again. You're going to see them get out, and we'll show his lap time here. So the kid in the light blue shirt in the foreground, he ran the fastest lap of the whole weekend, and he ran. So you can see the look these guys getting out. They came back about 10 times to ran. So he ran a 100.819, and that was the fastest lap of the weekend. The next closest was set by yours truly. 101.4 was my best lap. But that kid, he wasn't. So I talked to him quite a bit, and he was not a hardcore sim racer. He had like an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4. I can't remember his name either. I'm horrible with remembering names. But man, the kid was a natural alien. He every time he came back, he got faster. Started like at a 103, then hit a 102, then hit a 10. I think he was the first one to hit a 101, and then I hit my 101.4. Yeah, in a race on Saturday night, I think it was, and then or maybe it was Friday night. So then I had the fastest lap, and then that kid came, and I'm like, don't you dare hit a 1 flat. And sure enough, like the next run, he hit a 100.8. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun being there and talking with sim racers, talking with those guys. It's funny, that guy came back at the very end of the weekend, like late Sunday. Did anybody beat my time? And I was like, man, no one even came close. So was
there a prize for him?
No, it was just bragging rights, and we had a sign up that said beat James Hinchcliffe's time of a 103.519. So people were really shooting for that. And so talking a little bit about that, 90% of the people that got in that thing were just horrible. Because, first of all, they're running this Formula Renault 3.5, and we had all the assists turned on. We had tweaked the setup to make it pretty stable. So it was hard to get the car loose. But man, people just almost every race into turn 1, boom! All 4 cars would just be up in the air, flying all over the place. I'm thinking back, I think it would have been best to just let everybody get in, hot lap for 2 laps or something, try to beat that lap time and move on, because it was just a cluster in those races. If you got into a race, and we were letting kids run in it, if you got into a race with somebody, or 1 or 2 people that were horrible, you were lucky to cut a clean lap. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. It was cool to be there. I didn't get to really watch any racing because I was part of that setup, and it was SimXperience brought the 4 rigs, and I helped set them up and break them down, and was there, putting people in the sim. And we had one sim that was rFactor 2 was crashing every 3 or 4 hours, so we'd have to reset and do stuff like that. But anyway, it was a lot of fun being there. It was really cool to see what an attraction that was, because we had a nonstop line of people. We had to cut the line off at like 5:30. It was so busy, because otherwise we would have been there probably till 8 o'clock every night. But yeah, Richard, I agree. Hot lapping is better for demos. It probably would have given everybody a better experience, because honestly, thinking back, no one was really racing. They'd get out of the sim and they're like, no one would say like, did I win? Everybody was looking to see if they beat Hinchcliffe's time. So yes, the cat is out of the bag, and it's going to be coming out of the bag more. I work for SimXperience, so that's why I was there with them last week. Told a bunch of people there, and I've been answering customer support tickets behind the scenes. So yes, folks, that is my new job. I work for SimXperience. My job title is jack of all trades, really. I'm helping with sales, marketing, customer support, research and development, pretty much everything. We're a small company, so anywhere that I can lend a hand, I am. And so yeah, there you have it.
And I'm left here holding down the fort.
Exactly. John is the man for Inside Sim Racing, and you can see what a great job John's been doing. I mean, I didn't do anything for Inside Sim Racing for 10 days, and John, with the help of Billy, put out a ton of videos, and those guys are kicking ass for Inside Sim Racing. So I will be doing the live show most of the time. Actually, John, I will not be here next week. Gianna's coming into town, so I'll be taking next Wednesday off. So maybe you can bring in Billy or somebody else to fill my seat here on the Wednesday show. But thank you all for the congrats. I appreciate it. I'm really proud to work for them, and hoping I bring a lot to the table for SimXperience, and feel like I'm very fortunate to have landed that position. So anyway,
I'll tell you, you're not gonna be here next week. Then good thing I didn't skip this week, because I really did think about going to Eldora for the truck race tonight, since I'm only like an hour and 15 minutes away from it. But next year, as I say every year.
Yeah. So T-Bonus says, is this the passing of the torch? The torch has been passing for about 8 months now, if you guys didn't realize. And again, I'm still going to be, part of the team. Oh, yeah, sorry, I can't forget. Mark does the blogs, too. So, yeah, I've been passing the torch. And I'm still going to be part of Inside Sim Racing, but just not playing as active a role as I was. I'm not going to be reviewing any hardware, so there's no conflict of interest, or perceived conflict of interest between my job at SimXperience and that. I probably will be, I'll probably be involved in software reviews, because that's not a conflict of interest. There wouldn't be any problem with that. Yes, we will be at Gamescom. Andreas will be at Gamescom for us again this year. So, yes, Deadpool, you were right. And actually, somebody the first day we mentioned my job at SimXperience, we didn't say it was SimXperience. Someone said, "Is it SimXperience?" Whoever said that was right. And I didn't want to announce it then. So anyway, it is now. So speaking of Mark Puck, let's change gears now. Enough talking about me and SimXperience in Toronto. Mark Puck took a ride on the Nordschleife in a, a VLM car? John, they can't hear you, but I can. A BMW M235i, he got to take a ride in, and you can see him being whipped around in the passenger seat here. But that must have been a fun ride, and he did a write up of it. That's going to be at the site. You may have seen some pictures and stuff that he posted on our Facebook. I gotta say, looking through that cockpit view, games are getting pretty freaking realistic because that almost looks like a sim. But it is real. But anyway, so there you have it.
Video not running great. It's up on YouTube.
Yeah, so you guys can check that out on YouTube. We just posted it today, and Mark got to go for a ride around the Nordschleife. I believe that was the endurance version of the track.
Yeah, that's the VLN Endurance. So it's the full track minus a few corners at the probably about 5 corners, 6 that the GP circuit has. But yeah, they raced on Saturday, and Mark got to jump in the car on Friday and do that practice lap. And I do like that the first comment we had on that video was, "This game looks terrible," which is pretty funny.
Are you kidding?
They were joking.
I hope so.
Oh, that was so funny. But no, that looked like a heck of a ride. And talking to Mark yesterday on Skype, I think it was, he was saying, he's like, man, the real thing. I mean, Sims don't compare to the real thing when you're in there bouncing around. So
no, they definitely don't.
That looks pretty intense, pretty awesome.
Yeah, we're having bad stream status again.
I know. That's why I had to cut it. Wasn't happy on that.
No, it's still saying that though. I even refreshed the screen and it's saying that. Anyway, let's just keep going. People are even saying the chat box is lagging.
Man, we're really breaking things.
Yeah. So let's see here. Someone just said here. Actually, let's go back to this because I want to answer this. Will it be awkward if your old ex-partner who has started up again reviews some SimXperience? Is he actually back?
He came out with a video.
Oh my God! After 8 months, he's back, folks. Sean Cole with the Sim Pit is back. Maybe we should have made that news because he just disappeared for 8 months. And no, it won't be awkward if he reviews SimXperience gear. Hey, more promotion the better for the company I work for. There's nothing that he could review that we have that's new, but I don't see a problem with that. More the merrier, as far as I'm concerned. You know what? Business is business, and when it comes to my job at SimXperience, I'm not gonna hold a grudge against him. I hold a personal grudge against him, but as far as in a business light, I'm not came out of prison. Travis, shame on you, Travis. You said it, not me. Yeah, the gloves are off. Oh well, I could say whatever I want. But anyway, no, I will not. Again, it's business. So if he wants to review a SimXperience product, he's going to have to get in touch with me. So if he doesn't have a problem with that, neither do I. So last happening, and we already talked about this a little bit, you stayed home and played the PlayStation VR demo, John.
Yeah, I had to add that I stayed home because everyone else went and did stuff. Yeah, so, and again, I wish I had some kind of footage of this, but again, I was over at Best Buy, and I got a second monitor to mount here on the wall, and I had to get monitor mounts that I'm going to end up returning. I don't know what I was thinking going to Best Buy and getting that. I've just found something better on Amazon and cheaper. But so anyway, and Amazon, use our affiliate link.
That's right.
Yeah, I was at Best Buy and I was walking around and all of a sudden I saw this little line and this thing up and it's like, oh, PlayStation VR demo. I was like, oh, okay. So I went over, stood in line. It was like a 5-minute demo, so stood in line for a little while. I put a picture up on Instagram and all the other social medias that you can see down in the bottom there. And by the way, Instagram, thanks for followers. We're marching our way towards 1,000, so that's pretty cool.
Wow, really?
Yeah, we're up over 650 or something.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So
Last time I checked, we were only at 100 something, so that's cool.
Yep, we're going good. So yeah, I jumped in line. They had some games there. I ended up playing Eve Valkyrie, which is kind of a space pilot type game where you're inside a spaceship. And yeah, I have to say I left pretty impressed. And I know we talked about I've only really had my VR experience with Oculus at E3, and I was kind of meh on that experience. And partially, as was noted then, that was a couple work in progress titles at the time with Dirt Rally and WRC6, so it wasn't necessarily the best I don't know, environment. But yeah, so got to try out this game, and yeah, VR was pretty impressive. I felt like it overall looked pretty good in terms of looking out into space and seeing explosions and seeing different planes. The cockpit area, I told Darin yesterday, it felt like I was sitting in like rFactor 1, because like the arms and the legs were stiff, and and they had like a steering wheel, F1 steering wheel looking thing, and that didn't move at all. So that was kind of all pretty low resolution. But in terms of looking out, looked good. I did do a thing where I leaned forward to see if that made a difference, and it didn't seem to track that. Because I know, like, the Oculus and stuff, like, you lean forward, you'll lean over top of, like, I don't know, your gauges and stuff, and it didn't do that. But yeah, jumped in and, looking around and being able to, spot a bad guy up there and, turn my ship that way, and felt really cool. And also, I liked the headset. It was very light and didn't have all these cables and stuff, and even I joke, it had like this little shield thing that like works really well to keep my hair nice.
Hey, that's important.
Yeah, and this is the time when you guys go and dislike this video because of that. So people always hate hearing that. I'm just being practical. So yeah, because it didn't have a bunch of cables running all over the place, and it was light, and yeah, it was pretty impressive. Now, it was interesting.
So someone asked, and I was curious about this. Was that with the new PlayStation 4, or was that the current generation PlayStation 4? Did they say?
No, that was the current one.
Really?
It was the current PS4. It did have like a little box that was probably like, I don't know, probably about yay big, like probably about that thick. That went, the cables connected into that, and then connected into the PS4. So that was something a little extra there. But yeah, it standard PlayStation 4. It ran well. I wasn't like, frames per second. I didn't notice any issues with that. And I kind of feel like the games that they did have there that you could demo were definitely more optimized. Like they weren't. I don't think they were really heavy graphical games. Like I mean, overall racing I think is a fairly heavy graphical game, or I don't know, genre. All right. So yeah, and I mean it was, yeah, but it was interesting, And part of what was interesting was I really did like the experience here where I tried the Oculus. I didn't care for as much with the Oculus and racing titles. I'm familiar with it. I have, the triples, the bats and the monitors behind me and all that kind of stuff. So I know how good that can look, where this was a game that I'd never played before, so I had no, like, disposition opinion of the game. So, yeah, I mean, the woman there, I mentioned to her, I didn't see Gran Turismo Sport on the list of launch titles on the little brochure, and she said it's going to be coming out. So I need to kind of circle back around and hit up our contacts there and see if that's still on schedule, if they'll say anything, because that wasn't talked about at all at E3. I know some people asked, and there was nothing. So yeah, well, but yeah, I think it was a good experience, and I guess the Best Buy, at least here, the woman there, it was funny. She looked like she was like 70, and it was kind of, she'd been working for Sony for like 16 years or something.
Wow.
So yeah, she'd been there for a long time. But she said
she was a Sony rep, not a Best Buy employee.
Correct. She was a Sony rep. Yeah, I think she was a Sony rep for this area of Southern Ohio. And she said that that was her third weekend there, and she's going to be there every single weekend until it's launched. Because they've decided recently internally at Sony that people need to try this, or it's just going to fall to the wayside and no one's going to care about it in a year. And the only way to really, experience, you got to try it. So that's what they're really pushing to do. So yeah, I might have to. Normally, I'm gonna have to go back to Best Buy or something.
So now I'm curious. So I'm assuming, based on the fact that you were playing it on an original PS4, that it's going to be available for both. The Neo, yeah. So Neo, I guess, is the official name. That's what people have been calling it here. So that's cool. It's going to be available for both systems. But I'm assuming that the Neo is going to handle like 4K resolution and stuff better.
I believe that's the goal of Neo, and I haven't looked at, and some people here in chat might know better. I haven't looked in a while, but yeah, I believe the goal of Neo is 4K. And yeah, I do wonder also, is that going to make it, can they almost be like a PC, like where you can kind of almost have like I don't know, an unlocked graphics mode where the game knows that it's in the Neo system and can run better. More higher graphics, anti-aliasing, stuff like that. I don't know.
I'm sure that it's just going to be like a PC. So if you have a high-end graphics card on a PC, you can run higher resolution.
Yeah.
And it's going to run better. So anyway, that's going to be interesting. It's cool you get to try it out. I'm going to have to go by my Best Buy and see. Is there like a list of Best Buys that it's available at?
Yeah, someone in line was saying they looked something up. They looked it up somewhere online and saw that it was at the Best Buy. So I think there is some list somewhere. I'm not sure where it's at. So I just looked that up.
Cool. All right, so I think it's time for. Actually, it's time to check. What?
John Bieber.
Yeah,
I stepped in it with my hair comments. I've been ignoring chat.
Your hair's been the topic of conversation in chat for the last 5 minutes or so.
I saw something about Mary. I mean, come on.
All right, so I'm going to say I love the red pack, and so far our poll question: what do you think of the Assetto Corsa red pack? 53% love it. 20% said it's okay. Nobody said they want their money back. And 26% said no plans to buy it. So we don't have number counts, but that's just based on percentages of people that have voted on it so far. And by the way, if you want to donate to Inside Sim Racing, it's up over there, above John's head. You just click on that eye, and you can donate to the cause here. You can buy John another haircut when he needs one, and we looks like we both got our haircuts. Looks like we're having a stream problem again. Oh, now it's back to good. So now it's time for Q&A. We need to get like a little Q&A
graphic
intro.
Cool.
So the first question comes from Tom Jones. He's got 344 hertz monitors hooked up to one display port and two DVI/D in NVIDIA Surround at 5760 by 1080, but he's only getting 60 hertz. If he goes to 4800 by 900, he gets 120 hertz. And without NVIDIA Surround, all three monitors show 1920 by 1080 at 144 hertz. And he says he's baffled. I'm baffled. I ran on my 780 with two DVI cables and a display port for a while at 144 hertz. Now I've got, for my 1070 card, I just got my my cables came while I was gone, so I'm running all display ports. John, you have any idea what could be causing that? I mean, that doesn't make sense unless one of those DVI cables. There's two different types of DVI cables.
Well, he's got the right one. He's got the DVI-Ds.
Okay.
Because I just ran into that issue with the second monitor I got. I had a DVI cable and I hooked it up and I got a warning on the monitor saying it's going to look crappy, and it did look crappy. So I had to go get a DVI-D. Yeah, everything there looks like it should be right. A display port and two DVI-Ds, in theory, should work.
Well, the odd thing is he's getting 144 hertz if he just goes to all single monitors.
Now, Darin, you had that powered adapter, right?
Yeah, but that was because I had to go. My card was two DVIs and a display port.
Uh-huh.
So I had to. That was when I was running the old my old 22-inch monitors. Yeah. They did not have display ports. It was just DVI, HDMI, or the VGA.
Okay.
And so I had to go active display port to DVI.
Okay.
So that was because of that. But if he's going, display port, DVI to DVI on those other two, it should work fine. That's what I ran on my BenQs with the 780 before I got the 1070. Yeah. I was running exactly what he's running, and I was getting 144 hertz. So anyway, I don't know. I don't know what the problem is, Tom. That's really strange. Maybe one of those cables is bad. Maybe one of those DVI-D cables he's not getting a full signal. But then again, if he puts them all. Charlie's moving around.
Yeah, when he jumps out of surround, it works.
There he goes. Charlie's gone now. So that's weird. I don't know. Maybe do a Google search on that, Tom. I'm not sure what your problem is. Your other option is go to Monoprice. If you're here in the States, go to monoprice.com. I got my two DisplayPort cables for like $15. They got great prices on DisplayPort cables. So you may just want to go to all DisplayPorts, and then you would have you might not have the issue anymore. So next up, Caden Bin. He's the kid that we featured on the show a while back, and he said his G29 broke, and if Logitech sends our money back, we will get a T300 RS. Is it worth paying more for the T3PA Pro, or should I just get the T3PA pedals? What do you think, John?
For me, I don't know. Again, how much money you got, but the T3PAs I feel like do the job for me. And the Pros are a little nicer, but I don't know if they're that much of a step up that I don't know. I'm fine with just running the T3PAs myself. Unless
you want to invert them, if you specifically want them inverted, then I would go with the T3PAs as well, because they are pretty identical. You can get load cells for both if you ever want to upgrade them. The only one that's got a load cell for the T3PA, though, is Bowden Solutions, and man, last I've heard, he still hasn't had them in stock. But anyway, yeah, T3PAs definitely do the job. John, why don't you take the next question? I'm going to copy the question over.
Perfect. I will say what is fascinating is seeing that the G29 broke. I mean, one thing, even though I know we didn't get the most glowing reviews about the G29 and 920 because they were very same design as the G27 essentially. One thing that was always positive about G27 is those things rarely broke. I mean, the G27 has always been really durable. So
they were workhorses.
Yes, I'm kind of surprised seeing a broken G29. I haven't heard of that yet. Let's see. So Deadpool asked to Darin and John, what Dead Sim series you would love to see return? For me, it's the Grand Prix series. Well, I mean, we've been talking about it a lot recently. I mean, GTR 2 coming back. I mean,
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, Racing's kind of moved on in a different direction with, Sector 3 was Simbin, moved on with Race Room, kind of a different direction, and yet still kind of the same. I don't know. But yeah, no, I mean, GTR 2 I loved a lot, and I would say the other series that got killed off that I played was NASCAR Racing 2003, but now that's kind of come back in iRacing, and I think, iRacing has carried the torch with that fine. So those are mine.
I would like to see Grand Prix. I wonder if you meant Grand Prix Legends or the old Grand Prix series by Jeff Crammond. Anyway, I would like to, there was a talk of GT Legends coming back. That being revised. I would love to see that. I would love to see GTR 2. That was, as John was talking about, I had a feeling that's what he was going to say. I'd love to see the original Grand Prix Legends brought back. And sure, you can drive the Lotus 49, in iRacing and a bunch of other titles. But what I loved about Grand Prix Legends is that you had all that variety of cars, like all the different cars from that era, on all those tracks from that era, and all those cars were had performed differently, handled differently. Everybody knew that the Lotus 49 was like the beast. That was the car to drive. But if you could beat somebody in the Lotus 49 and you were driving the Eagle or the Ferrari, and you were moving out. And anyway, I would love to see that back with all the original tracks. I think that would be really cool. That was a great question, Deadpool. Thanks for that. Dub Chain, motion rings. Is it better to have the screen, pedal, and wheel move, or should it remain static? There's a lot of mixed opinion, and since you guys have used them, what are your thoughts? I think I'll take that. Oh, you drove.
I'm glad this was asked. I have an opinion. I do have an opinion on this.
Well, let's hear. Go ahead, John, and then I'll say my opinion.
So, when I did the first look from E3 of the Next Level V2, that was just Next Level rig I got behind me, but the V2 at E3, and a lot of people were jumped on the comment section, was like, why would you get that if just the seat's moving? And I wrote a fairly lengthy response in our the comment section of the story on the website, and I don't think you have to have everything moving. I mean, I'm sure Darin will get to this. I mean, driving that Stage 4 that Darin has, that was the most amazing sim racing experience I've had. That was yeah. I know. Here, cue that I'm just, yeah, whatever. But yeah, but yeah, in that one, the wheel and pedals don't move, and I don't think you're not. It's not about how much you're moving. It's about the speed of the movement to get you to get those that G's and get that feeling, and you're not moving that far. So
basically, trick your brain.
Yeah, you're not pulling your hands and your hands off the wheel and your feet off the pedals. And also, I tried a couple, 2 or 3 D-Box setups there at E3, and I mean they seemed fine. I didn't really get to try enough to really see how dialed in, how quick they were moving. But with the D-Box setup, you have to move a lot of weight. That is a tremendous amount of weight you have to move, and from what I commented, WRC6 felt like it was a boat ride. It's like da 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 da, nice and smooth. And when you have to move, entire weight of a person and then the rig, that's a lot. And I worry that you lose some of that. That we almost get kind of a latency. You just can't move as quick than when you just move in a seat, or like the stage 4 when you can move inside the side with the traction loss. So I don't.
Yes.
It's not an end all. It's not as negative as people I think it is from watching.
No, and I agree with what John says, and now I'm taking my SimXperience hat off, and this is Darin from Inside Sim Racing. Originally when I tried motion, for the first few times, I'm trying to stop Charlie from getting under my table here. If you guys are wondering what I'm doing, most of the time that it was set up, it was overdone. So you were being thrown too far forward or pushed too far back, and not that my hands were coming off the wheel, but it definitely made a difference. I think when it's dialed in right, for a number of reasons, I don't think you need to have the monitors moving. Now, the stage 5 that we were just running at Toronto, the monitors are attached to the rig. So when that traction loss is kicking out, those monitors are going with it. Now the seat's moving, independently of everything else. For the, your acceleration G-force, your braking G-force. Charlie, hey, gotta be right at my feet. Sorry, guys, this is the last time he sits down here with me. You stay
until we try again in like 6 months.
No, I've had enough of it today. No. Anyway, so. Where was I? Sorry about that, guys and girls, if there's any watching. So I tried systems a long time ago where the monitor was attached, and I've done that a few times, and it's cool. But part of the problem that you encounter with that is you need you have to have the most stable monitor stand, or those monitors are really going to start flopping around. I mean, the one on the stage 5 is built like a freaking tank. So those monitors, they're moving a little bit, but you don't notice it because you're pretty much moving with it. So I don't necessarily think it needs to be attached. I'm really curious. I really like to talk to Avenja more, to be honest, about how the motion is affecting VR, because you're getting all that head movement, and the head tracking is picking it up. So I'm wondering how that really affects the VR experience.
Well,
so
that's what I was saying earlier. It didn't look like it made too much of a difference, at least from watching his video. So to answer your question, I think static is fine. I think because the visuals are bouncing in conjunction with what you're feeling. So as long as you're not getting any lag, input lag on the screens, it's all working together in harmony, I guess is a good way to put it. So anyway, that's our take on that. This next one's directed at me. This is a service ticket for you.
Yeah, I know. And by the way, I wanted to put a disclaimer out there. I am not going to be answering customer support questions on the show. I will answer this one, but for SimXperience, if you have a customer support question, go to our website. And we are doing everything we can. That's part of the reason why I'm part of customer support now. We're doing everything we can to answer tickets within 24 hours. So, and you may have a little lag on the weekend because we all do take a day or two off. But you may have had some a delay while we were in Toronto. We were still trying to answer tickets. But anyway, Darren Bell asked, why is SimVibe not working for a few people on iRacing? I've tried everything, and I know you're the man to ask. you got to make sure you got the most current version of Sim Commander. If you're not logging into Sim Commander and you don't have version 4.0.0.52, you may not be getting iRacing's executable has changed if you're running DX11. So Sim Commander, it may not be picking that up. So make sure that you're logged in and you've got the most current version. And if that still doesn't work, contact customer support and I'll probably end up helping you. Next question was for you, John. Tom Jones, did you wear glasses with the PlayStation VR?
I did. If I knew I was going to have a chance to try it out, I would have wore contacts, but and wore glasses, and yeah, I mean it still worked out fine. I mean, I had them like smashed against my glasses. I think when I took the headset off, I had like a smudge on my glasses. They were definitely all smashed in there, just like it was with the Oculus. So yeah, I don't know. Again, I mean, wearing glasses, especially ones that are a little larger, like the ones I have, isn't the easiest thing with VR. But no, overall, it seemed fine. I didn't going back to that. I didn't really feel, at least in that title, and I'd have to really try in racing, because that's what I'm familiar with. I didn't really get the periscope effect of the field of view like I feel like I really had when I drove the Oculus with and without glasses on. It seemed like it was almost wider field, and I think they had in the documentation the field of view for PlayStation VR is like 110 degrees, so I think it's about the same as the others. But yeah, it didn't bother me as much.
Interesting. When we'll be getting a CV1 one of these days soon, and I wear glasses on occasion. I should be wearing them more, to be honest. Mine's more of a distance thing, so I mean I can see everything here just fine. But I want to try mine. I want to try the CV1 with glasses and check out the difference. Next question. Joshua Rushing. Other than the fact that you can change out the rims on the Thrustmaster TX, what's the comparison to the TMX? Well, the TMX is a belt/gear-driven hybrid. That's one of the biggest differences. Other than that, that's really the main difference.
Yeah, I mean,
and
I would say
change rims, like he said.
Yeah, I would say the TX is definitely it's smoother, and the force feedback's is stronger than the TMX. I wouldn't say substantially stronger, but it is a little stronger. And then with the TX, you can have different rims. I mean, the base TX rim, the Ferrari one or whatever, I think is terrible. But all the other rims are pretty good and larger diameter. Where with the TMX, you are restrained to the smaller rim. So those are the differences.
Yep. John, you can take the next one.
Yeah, Ernie Gaming. Darin and John, do you know if some sim company is planning a force feedback H shifter to field the missed shifts, gearbox feature failures, etc.? I'd be in trouble. I haven't heard anything like that. I think it seems like the high end shifters, they really just rely more on a spring system, right?
Yeah, and I haven't heard of anybody. I've heard people talk about force feedback style shifters. I would imagine that'd be pretty pricey though too. Some of those high end shifters are already getting up there in price tag, and
yeah,
I would think of all peripherals that shifters are probably on the low end as far as sales goes, because I mean you really don't need one. I mean you can do all your shifting with the paddle shifter. I mean if you're hardcore sim racing and racing against other people, you're gonna be, unless you are really efficient with that thing. And I love gate shifting. I mean trust me, I have my Camaro's gate shift 6-speed and I love manual gate shifting, but I mean if you're sim racing competitively, you're not going to be as fast or as consistent. I mean, unless you are just the master gate shifter on the planet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if a company out there would want to spend the money on research and development of it, and B, I don't think they would sell all that much, because I think the price tag would be high because of that technology that would be implemented into that particular shifter. I think it'd be cool. I mean, I think it'd be really cool, but I I mean, I think maybe like a set of force feedback pedals, would be more along the lines of something people would buy. And exactly how to implement that, I'm not sure. Maybe more feeling if you have ABS brakes, or different feeling if the tires are locking up. I don't know, but anyway, what's your take on that, John?
Yeah, I agree. I do think you'll be hard pressed to see that come out, and if it does, it'll be a very custom thing from guys like, I don't know, like a DSD or Rick Motec, something like that, and probably pretty pricey. But I mean, it'd be cool to do something a little more, realistic and really feel that resistance of the throws. But like Darin said, it's not a big market.
Yep, I agree.
Let's see. So Falcon, okay.
Falchion
757. Is this question? Is Assetto Corsa coming to consoles a complete $60 title? I asked because I just picked it up on PC and the content seems lacking. Thank you. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be. I don't think they've put out yet what the final content's gonna be on the console. It sounds like, from what I gathered, it's gonna be what's probably currently on the PC, including the DLCs, I believe, because that's how they're saying. They said like, okay, on the because there was a bit of uproar that on the PC this is like a $30 game, 35, 40, depending at different times of the year, and then it becomes a $60 game when it goes to console. And Kuno's argument was, well, it's lower on the PC, but then you buy the DLC, where that DLC that's currently out on the PC is going to be included on the console. But with that said, I think for the console to get, like, I believe it's the Corvette, the Mustang, the Ferrari 488 road car, and maybe something else, you had to do like the pre-order deal. So I think at launch, in comparison, the console is going to have more cars than the PC version if you just buy the base PC version today. But track-wise, Assetto Corsa is lacking on tracks. I mean, that is definitely something we've talked about for a while.
What I'm curious is, what are they going to do for single player?
What do you mean?
Like a campaign? I mean, what's going to be, in its current state, I don't know. I mean, like with Forza, you have a certain campaign that you go through. Gran Turismo, same thing. What's Assetto Corsa going to do different? And I know they have something on the PC version, but it just seems kind of incomplete. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I need to boot Assetto Corsa up and kind of go through it anyway on the PC. But it just doesn't seem like a true single player campaign console style racing game at this point on the PC.
Yeah, that will be interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they're going to make any changes there. So I think we are.
Yeah, there was a question I saw earlier. I don't know the name, but I want to hit up because it was kind of more directed towards what I've been one of the more recent videos. Someone said that they had a 27-inch monitor, and then they went and they got the Acer Z35 that I reviewed within the last couple of weeks, and they asked if the low resolution when you're up close throws me off or something like that. And like I said in that review, that monitor, when it comes to like just working at the desktop, I mean, it definitely is lower resolution. I mean, there's no question. You can see the larger pixels. For gaming, I thought it was like my BenQs I have back here. I think it works really well. So I didn't have any issues there. Again, as I said in that review, and I saw some people kind of debating this on, like, I think it was BSim Racing or something, or at least someone was. I think 144 hertz is king. Is king, and also that NVIDIA G-Sync in terms of racing titles, which that was a sim racing review, as the title said in the show. I just don't think it makes that much of a difference. As others point out, in other games, shooters, MMOs, and stuff like that, it makes a big difference because of quick turns and stuff like that, and I can see that. But the racing titles, I prefer to be running, like I said there, I think I said 85 plus frames. I mean, I honestly probably more like 90, 100. But yeah, at those frames per second, I don't think really G-Sync's doing anything for me.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear that too. That was your take. There was another question. John, would it be possible for you guys to find out whether Assetto Corsa on PS4 will be supporting current Fanatic wheels? That's a good question.
That is a good
Fanatic
question.
Trying to get an official license for PS. That's a great question. I know a lot of it depends on whether or not they may not be officially licensed, but if the game supports it, the development supports that particular wheel, Charlie's back. Then it'll work. So like Project Cars, you can still, as far as I know, you can still run the Fanatic. I think you can run it on, and this we're talking PlayStation 4. I think you can run it on the on F1 2016.
Yep.
I think Dirt Rally, those all still work, but it's not an officially licensed PlayStation 4 wheel. So I would assume Assetto Corsa is going to work with the Fanatic bases, but yeah, I don't know, John, you're going to have to try that out as soon as you get it.
Yeah, no, I would expect, and also they seem, I don't know, the Assetto Corsa guys, like, you know, they redid their website the other day, which I'm glad they redid it, because they hadn't, in the past, they hadn't had all the cars and all the tracks listed on there, and sometimes when you're trying to keep track of that stuff or write blogs, that's annoying, so I'm glad they updated that. But a lot of the pictures they had show it with Fanatic gear, so I'd be very surprised, like Darin is saying, I think it's up to developers, and I'm sure it's going to be in there, but I do owe Thomas at Fanatic an email on a couple topics, so maybe I can, if I remember, I can ask that.
Cool. Someone was asking any word on the new Thrustmaster GT Sport wheel. Nothing. We haven't heard anything yet. Matter of fact, I talked to Thrustmaster today, and that subject did not come up. I got a feeling even if it did, I wouldn't be able to tell you, because a lot of times they'll tell me things on the QT, but no. Another one for you, John. Would you recommend PSVR for console racing? Assetto Corsa, GT Sport, etc., Project Cars?
I don't know yet. Like I said, it was a good first impression, but it was a title that is, like I said, I don't know if it's most graphically demanding, with it being kind of a space game and only, it's not quite being at a track with these cars around you and everything, trees whipping by and all that. There's a lot more to model. So I don't know yet. I don't know. I mean, definitely my one gripe with VR right now is just the resolution. And again, I definitely, we want to get a VR to properly try a headset, the current gen. But yeah, so I don't know yet, what that's going to look like, a racing title on PlayStation VR. So I don't know. But yeah, I need to get in contact with Sony and ask them a little more about Gran Turismo and where that's at. And who knows, maybe get a headset out from them, because Lord knows Oculus and HTC aren't handing out headsets.
Yeah, that's for sure. Charlie, what do you got?
I feel like
that's my problem with having Charlie down here. He will anything on the ground, and I'll open a bag, he had this tie in his mouth earlier.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, he swallows this thing and it's going to rip his intestines up. It's one of those freaking ties that goes around a cable. Dumb. I know you got something. I could tell by the look on his face. He's got something in his mouth. Here's another. Hold on a second.
If you guys have any other questions, there was one other question that was asked earlier now that I'm trying to... Oh, someone asked what was the appeal of oval racing. And that's fine. And also, I think someone also asked what you enjoy more these days, oval road racing. Driving-wise, I've gone like fully road. I haven't done an oval race outside of Indycars in a long time. But yeah, I mean, oval racing, it's challenging. And, I think watching-wise, for me, it's about seeing the guys really close racing. And, those NASCAR guys, oh, that's not good. Those NASCAR guys, I mean, they're driving those cars, sideways. Slideways. So yeah, so I mean, I've always found it appealing. I will say I've kind of dropped off watching NASCAR here recently, but Jeff Gordon's in the race this weekend.
He is?
He is. He's filling in for Dale Jr. for next 2 weeks.
Where are they running?
Indianapolis.
Indy?
So I might have to go to the racetrack on Friday.
That would be cool. You should, man.
I probably should. So I went to Indianapolis last year on Friday to go see him for I thought the last time, so now I can go again this year for the last time. As long as this doesn't turn into a Mark Martin thing. Yeah, so I do find oval racing entertaining. I mean, at times it can be a snooze fest, but still can road racing. So
I enjoy racing in it. I ran a race with the Krankenstein guys back about a month ago at, was it Dover? I think it was Dover. No, Kentucky in the Xfinity car. Fixed setup, like 50-lap race. That was a blast. Actually, we didn't have any cautions either, so it was a tough race. But I had a blast racing it, and I wanted to race with those guys on. I think they race on Friday nights, but it just didn't work out. Wife just gets home from work, and it just wasn't going to work out for me. But as far as watching them on TV, so, I'm with John. I mean, some can be entertaining, but I don't know. Sometimes they're a snooze fest. It's good to watch the beginning of the race, take a nap, like through a good 2/3, and then you wake up for like the last 10, 15 laps. So
that's what my roommate in college, Isaac, always did. I'd watch a race, he'd watch the beginning, fall asleep, there for the end.
Yep, I've done that many a time. So I think, what do you think? We should wrap it up? Any more questions?
I think that should do it. Yes, Travis Eldora is on FS1 tonight.
Is it really? I'm going to have to try to watch that. Cool. So that'll be actually earlier for me. You know what time it goes live?
I think the finale is going to go off at 9:30 Eastern, but the heat races start at like another hour and a half. The heat start.
Sweet. Oh, sweet. So I'm going to be able to catch those pretty soon. Right on. Well, guys, thanks for joining us for another This Week Inside Sim Racing. It's been fun as usual. We apologize for the technical difficulties. John, I won't be back next week, John, so you're going to need to figure these out. And for whoever your co-host is, unless you're going to go solo, then it'll probably be even a lot easier for you. But
I'll try to figure it out. I gotta bring one of these other guys on. I keep on canceling on them.
Yeah, that would be cool if you did. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for the likes. We really appreciate it. And fun chatting with you guys as usual. For my buddy John Sable, I was going to be Sable. For my buddy John Sable, I'm Darin Ganji. See you guys next time.